Okay, so we're going to talk about the three types of deformers that you have to animate with in Toonboom Harmony. We will talk about how to create these two deformers when we go into rigging, but for now you just need to know how to manipulate them. So the first one that we want to talk about is the bone deformer. So the bone deformer acts like, you guessed it, a bone. So in order to see the deformers, you don't always see them by default. You can like select on them down here in the timeline or the art layer. You're not going to see them. And you might think, well, how can I access the controls for this? The way that you access the controls is this lovely little, I call it the X's and O's, sort of like a tic-tac-toe markup here. And what this means is that whatever you have selected, it's going to show the deformers for that. So immediately you see the bone deformers appear right here. Um, and without the animate mode on, I can kind of test them and see how they work. So the bone deformer, again, I have sort of this stiff area as the upper arm, and I have this stiff sort of bone of the lower arm, and then they're sort of jointed together by this elbow joint. And you can also sort of manipulate how big or small this elbow joint, controls your art piece. And you can have more than one joint. You could have a whole sequence if you wanted like a chain link. But this is the bone deformer. For the curve deformer, this is sort of like the rubber hose deformer. So again, you're going to click on it and you say, there's nothing here. How do I find the deformer controls? Again, tic-tac-toe, boop. It's going to disappear off of this and appear here. Again, the curve deformer, you're going to have two handles. Whoop, sorry about that. There we go. You're going to have a Bezier handle down here, sorry, up here, and a Bezier handle down here. So you're going to sort of be able to get this straight line and make it into an S and sort of wiggle it this way, wiggle it that way. And again, it's kind of like the rubber hose deformer where you don't have a hard joint in the middle. You just sort of get to bend it and deform it from either end. And you can sort of pick up this end and move it around. And you're going to sort of see where the deformer originally started from, but you don't have to worry about that so much. So that is the curve deformer. And then the envelope over here is, if again, click on the tic-tac-toe, it's going to surround the piece of artwork that you can deform. So again, this one's a little tricky to manipulate, but basically it's similar to what we did in After Effects where we're influencing the sort of outside vector lines of the artwork. So again, this is really helpful for like maybe hair or fabric. You could do hair with a curve deformer too. It really depends on, what type of movement you want, the amount of control that you want over your object as you animate it. But these are the three types of deformers that you're going to find. When in doubt, you can always see if there's a deformation listed in the timeline. In the node view, you're going to see deformation containers right here. If you click into them, you're going to see all the sort of the bones inside of it. So these are all the individual little vector points of my envelope. Again, that is then parented to the artwork itself. And you could just go ahead and throw, pegs on these so that now a peg is containing the deformer which contains the artwork. So again, you can get really complex in terms of, this is going to control the overall movement of the object, but then this is going to manipulate the shape of the object itself. So hope you found this helpful. And again, when in doubt, always look for a deformer on pieces that you suspect might have them, such as spines or legs or arms, because sometimes they can be tricky to sort of track down.